Hi there, my magical star beings. This is Psychic Siren Tarot, and welcome to the channel. In today's reading, we're going to be taking a look at what people say about you based off your conversations with them. So please be aware this is a general reading. Only take what resonates, leave the rest. We have 3 piles to choose from. For pile number 1, we have the Opalite Pendulum. For pile number 2, we have the Crystal Howlite. And for pile number 3, we have Flourite. So I'm going to give you a few seconds to pick a pile. Pick whichever pile you're most drawn to, the one that is calling out to your soul the most, and that will be your pile for today. Once you're done picking a pile, please find the timestamps for your pile in the description box below, and then I'll see you at your reading. Hi there, my pile number ones. If you chose this Opalite Pendulum, this reading is for you. We're going to be taking a look at what people say about you based off your conversations with them. So please be aware this is a general reading. Only take what resonates, leave the rest, because there are so many of you watching. So before we get started with your reading, I do have a small favor to ask from you. In the last 3 months, 60% of people who watch my channel didn't subscribe. So if you've ever liked any of the videos I've posted, can you please do me a favor and hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet? It helps my channel more than you know, and I'm so grateful to anyone that supports the channel. So I've already pre-shuffled your cards. Your first card is Tangerine Quartz, card number 5 with the solar plexus chakra and Shakti. Your second card is Red Jasper, card 25 with the Eteman star and Conviction. And your third oracle card is Azurite, Saturn, Discipline, card 30. So firstly, I'm hearing that song that's like, bitch, you know I'm sexy. Don't call, just text me. It's called It Girl. I don't know who sings it, but it's called It Girl. And it's a very sassy song. And you know, with the solar plexus chakra here, it's actually funny that this card came out because as I tapped into the energies of your pile, I did feel a solar plexus healing. And, you know, we have 7 different chakras responsible for different things in our energy centers, okay? But the solar plexus deals with our self-worth. It deals with the way we view ourselves. It deals with our, you know, like inner strength, our inner power, and inner confidence. So there's something here about people talking about you in a way where you seem to have improved a lot within your self-confidence. You seem to know your worth right now. There seems to have been a healing in terms of the way you're viewing yourself when you look in the mirror, as we see mirrors here. You know, the way you speak about yourself has definitely changed, is what people are saying, where people can see you know your worth now. People can see that improvement and that transformation with the snake here of the self-worth. By the way you speak about yourself, by your conversations, people can see a certain type of glow radiating from you. And as I say that, I hear ringing in my right ear. So people see a glow radiating from you as a result of this newfound self-worth you have. And people are talking about that based off your conversations with them, where they're saying, oh my gosh, have you seen pile 1 lately? Have you seen how much they've changed with the number 5 showing up twice? Have you seen how much they have transformed? Like, they look so confident in themselves right now. They look like they know their worth. They look like they know they are that it girl, it boy. They know they are that girl or boy. And it's not, they're saying it's not that you're superficial or egotistical, because people actually think you used to be very humble in the past. And this would be people that know you over time and can see how you've changed over time based off, you know, your conversations with them. And they can see that. They can see that transformation, and they're talking about that, and they're talking about how amazing it is that you found this after hardships because the planet Saturn is the planet that restricts, the planet that gives us hardships and lessons. So maybe you have gone through in this lifetime a lot of lessons surrounding your self-worth, surrounding, how you speak to yourself, the way you are being towards yourself. And it seems like you have really come out of your shell, is what I'm hearing, where you're putting yourself back into the world without any self-doubt, without any insecurity. You've completely transformed the way you view yourself, and people are definitely talking about that change. People are talking about how you've had a very hard life. This is based off your conversations with them. So you've either opened up to them about the hardships you've been through in your life, or they can just see and sense intuitively with the pendulum here, because this is what we answer. We ask yes or no questions and swing the pendulum, our spirit. So there's something here about people either wanting to ask you questions before they speak about you with the pendulum, or they may just, if you never said this to them, they may intuitively sense this from the way that you speak, that you've maybe gone through healing, that you've maybe gone through a hard life, that you've gone through a transformation of your own, that you haven't always been this way, but it took a transformation and a healing on your part to get where you are right now. And although you've been going through hardships in your life, as I close my eyes, I feel like using more clairvoyancy, because I do have the gift of clairvoyance, but I've noticed I haven't been using it in readings much, so I'm combining that. I'm seeing a fountain or a waterfall. So there is a cleansing happening in your life, and they may not say cleansing, but they may talk about the fact that you've been healing, the fact that you've been letting go of certain things from the past. And as I say that, I feel it tingling on my third eye, where people are talking about you being someone, I'm getting a little bit tongue-tied. Maybe they may get tongue-tied while speaking about you. They'd speak about you being someone that is determined, being someone that's extremely strong and resilient, and you persevere through any challenge. And you're not someone that sees challenges with this kind of woe me victim mentality. People see you and talk about you to be someone that sees a challenge like a hurdle. You can get through any challenge and hurdle and find a solution to the problem and overcome it with perseverance. So people talk about your strength and they really admire that. And I must say, people, when they're speaking about you, I feel like a lot of people speak about you with admiration and they look up to you and they really want to shoot their shot either towards you, like if they're crushing on you, because I'm seeing an arrow and shooting their shot, or they feel inspired by you and, want to reach their own dreams and goals because of you, want to overcome their own challenges and persevere through their own hardships because of you, because of learning from you. And I'm clairvoyantly seeing a phone. So a lot of people may talk about you on the phone or by text message, or may want to speak to you on the phone after a conversation with you and may say that to other people. And a lot of people may also hear stories about you that are quite inspirational, that help them see a light at the end of the tunnel when they are going through their own challenges and hardships of their own, that they can see that, they may be at the bottom right now, but there is always room for growth and improvement where they can reach the top. And I feel like this is me saying this, but you're like the phoenix. You rise above anything, my pile number ones, and everyone can see that. Everybody's speaking about how strong and resilient you are. You've learned a lot of knowledge and wisdom, pearls of knowledge and wisdom from the hardships you've been through, and it's taught you your own strength and power, and that's what people are talking about. I'm hearing cut off game strong. And I feel the energy of the throat chakra and boundaries of you learning to speak your truth, of you learning to stand up for yourself more. So I feel because maybe you speak about this, but maybe you've cut off a lot of people in your life that have wronged you, that have disrespected you, treated you wrong, where you're no longer giving people second chances or the benefit of the doubt. And you may have done that in the past. You may have been extremely forgiving in the past, because I feel when people talk about you, they talk about you being this very loyal person. They talk about you being someone that is extremely loving and forgiving of others, where you're very compassionate and have a lot of understanding towards others. You see the light within others that they may not see within themselves. However, your kindness may have been taken for granted. You may have been walked all over by others in some way, because I feel like in the past people are looking at you as you were very humble, you were very forgiving, very loving and gentle, and like the deer in the headlights, whereas the other people were like wolves in sheep's clothing, where you didn't see them as the wolves. And I feel like eventually they showed their true colors to you, and you started to love yourself more. And it's not that you're not a loving person anymore, but you've changed in a way where now you have stronger boundaries, where now you're not afraid to speak your truth and speak up for yourself. And now you've changed where you know your worth, you know what you're deserving of when it comes to your relationships, because you bring a lot of love, you bring a lot of loyalty, you bring a lot of generosity, and that's what people talk about. So people say, you deserve to have somebody that treats you the same way you treat them. So it's not like people will say, oh, I wouldn't want to get on pile number one's bad side, because they'll cut me off real quickly, or they will call me out real quickly. They're not afraid to speak their truth now. And you speak it with conviction, with true belief in yourself. Like, you know what you're worthy of, you know what you're deserving of. And I feel like people talk about you and say you're a very nurturing person, very generous, very giving. Let's get out your next cards, because I pre-shuffled all of them. So we have the Empress card showing up first. We have the Eight of Air. And throughout your whole reading, I keep feeling the solar plexus healing. And we have the Messenger of Air. So Eight of Swords, Messenger of Air. I think this is an extra card in this tarot deck. Okay. So I feel like when people talk about you based off their conversations with you, there's something about some people that have had, like a past life connection to you. And they say that you are someone where you have this kind of familiarity to you in the way that you are, in the way that you look. There's like a sort of familiar presence you have where people can't quite put their finger on it. And I don't feel like this is everybody, but some people you have interacted with where you have a past life connection to them. And maybe that's why you chose the pendulum, because I feel like there's some spiritual energies here where you've had past lives with some people, and it's sort of like this soul remembrance they have towards you, where some people will say, like, I can't put my finger on it, but pile one, there's something where either they remind me of someone, or they look very familiar to me, or something about their vibe feels very familiar to me, where I feel like I've met them before. I feel like I've spoken to them. I feel like I've known them my whole life. I can't quite put my finger on it, or I feel like I've seen them before, but I don't know where I've seen them before. People will say that about you, but it's not everyone, it's only some people. I feel like a lot of people will also talk about your beauty and your physical attractiveness. I saw this before, and I saw like a woman with eyeliner and sleek black hair, almost reminding me of Maddie from Euphoria, Alexa Demi. So, of course, you don't have to look the way I'm describing you, but there's something about a kind of sexiness you exude, a fierceness you exude. And the more and more you've been loving yourself, the more you've been growing within this beauty where people are talking about your attractiveness, regardless of your gender, where they're saying you are more sexier than ever, where they're saying you've gone through a glow up, where they're saying because you know your worth now, because you have more self-love now, you're no longer being in war with yourself. You're no longer being in a fight with yourself, because it's like Spirit is reminding me of a reel I saw yesterday on Instagram. And as I say that, I have tingles on my third eye again. I don't know if this pile is quite intuitive and you channel messages, but I was seeing that reel where they were speaking about how if we spoke to ourselves and heard the way we speak to ourselves, if a friend spoke to us that way, would we keep them in our life? And if so, then how can we speak to ourselves differently? Because we give a lot of love to other people, but when it comes to ourselves, do we show up for ourselves in the same way we show up for others? And I'm kind of feeling this vibe in the past. Maybe there was this feeling of stuckness, insecurity, doubt, like not really believing in yourself, not really seeing your power, not really seeing your worth in the past, not really seeing how precious you are and how much you deserve and how treasured you are by others. And I feel like people speak about that, and people speak about how you've pulled yourself out of that stuck place and now you are shining, you are thriving, and you are striving for better. You are striving for improvement and change and growth and transformation, where now you're stepping into your power, you're stepping into your magnetism, where you truly see the beauty within and on the outside of yourself, where you no longer doubt yourself anymore. You seem to know yourself now. You seem to understand yourself better. I feel like you've been going on this journey of understanding yourself and realizing your worth, coming to a place of self-love, growth, transformation. Okay? It's taken a lot of time and patience to get where you are today. Because I'm almost seeing time like Saturn can influence time and make things a little bit slower for us, where we almost have to catch up, but then you get further than others. It seemed like you were behind others in the past, but now you are further than others. That's what people are talking about based off your conversations. I don't know if you tell people these things or if this is just things they sense from you based off their own intuition. Subconsciously, of course. I feel like people talk about you being such a sweet angel with the angel wings here and the Empress. They talk about you being someone extremely nurturing, and I feel like that comes through in the way that you speak to others. You're very loving with your words, and I feel like people call you a big softie when they speak about you based off their conversations with you, where they call you the softie, but also like there is this intimidation factor to you and mystery to you now, where if someone was to disrespect you, they don't want to get on your bad side because you'll be gone from their life forever, where they'll be left wondering, why did I do that in the first place? Where they will never be able to speak to you and access you again. Where it's like people really respect you. It's like you call in respect by honoring yourself right now. And I feel like this is what people speak about. Maybe not in the way I'm explaining it, but like I wouldn't want to get on pile one's bad side because I know they'll cut me off. And I don't want them to cut me off because I really admire pile one and I really want to be around them. And I want a relationship or friendship with them, because I see a lot of people actually wanting relationships or connections to you, whether that be platonic or romantic. They do want you in their life. People are talking about how you have gotten to this place of stability and growth within your finances as well. It seems like you've been really reaching towards your dreams and goals, and you've been determined, you've been persevering towards that, even when there have been hardships. Also, when it comes to your relationships, there has been a growth here where maybe you are starting to call in healthier connections for you, and people are starting to notice that. And maybe you've spoken about that in your conversations, or maybe like before in the past, let's say you spoke about a specific relationship you had, and now you're speaking about a different relationship you have, and they can see the difference, the change in that. Or if you're not surrounded by healthy connections yet, people can see how your growth will bring that in. I feel like people talk about the way you speak as well. They speak about you being a very free spirited person. Or if you're not free spirited, you could relate to liberating yourself and freeing yourself of the hardships of the past, where you're not letting your past determine your future. And I feel like people may speak about that. As I look into energy, I feel like people talk about you being very mysterious in a way at first. A little bit discerning at first. Spirit is showing me a zipper that's closed, but you slowly open up to others. People call you an open book. And I'm seeing dynamite. It's like you're very powerful, and a candlelight that has gone off that is being reignited. So, you're reigniting your flame, your passion for life. You're seeing how powerful you are now. You're seeing that you're like dynamite. Okay? You're starting to see your own potential, or people talk about you in a way where they see your potential and they see you coming out of your shell. They see you gaining knowledge and wisdom. And they're really inspired by you. So I feel like people speak about you in a way where they're inspired by you, and you're igniting their flame as well, by you igniting your own flame. And what I mean by that is you coming to a place where you realize your worth, where you reignite your spark for life, your joy for life, because the solar plexus can also deal with where we find joy in life. And maybe before there was a struggle of really feeling, and I wouldn't say appreciating the joy, but like really feeling into the joy within. But now you're starting to come to that place where you're starting to notice more things to feel grateful for, or notice more things to feel joy for. So I feel like the theme here of what people talk about is the changes you've been through and how it inspires them within their own life. We have lost lands, soul memories, and gifts. You've done this before, and this is what I was speaking about, where a lot of people feel very drawn to you in a way spiritually, but they can't put their finger on it. And I feel like people will speak about the past as well. Like people from your past may speak about you and how you've changed and transformed. I know we're doing it based off your conversations, but maybe you're not having conversations with people from your past, because I feel like this is people you wouldn't be in contact with. But maybe they are sensing the transformations you've been through based off how you interact with the world. For example, social media can be an interaction with the world. So I feel like they're speaking about that. Again, that mystery is coming up where you're not easily accessed or attained, but when you are, people really treasure it. And I feel like with you've done this before, there's something about you being able to start over again and again and again and reach the top, improve in a way where you go past the people that were past you in the beginning. And you're able to do that again and again and again and keep doing it. Like you're able to completely transform again and again and again. And people continuously see it. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting here. With soul memories and gifts, people may talk about you being extremely talented or extremely gifted in some way in certain things you do. I think it's different for all of you in terms of what it would be. But for some of you, you could be creative. For some of you, you could be intuitive. You could be very spiritual. Some of you could actually work with people in terms of emotions, like psychologists, therapists, counseling. Some of you could just be very good at comforting others and being there for others. So it could be many different things. Some of you could be great at problem solving. It could be different for all of you, but the point I'm trying to make here is people talk about you being extremely talented and gifted. So we have forge, don't follow, pave a new path, be the leader you wish you had. So I feel like people talk about you based off your conversations with them to be an extremely unique person. You're extremely unique. You're a very pure and loving soul. And a lot of the things you've been through in life you didn't quite deserve because you never gave that to others. You always want to bring harmony and balance into your relationships and connections, and you speak with true love. But I feel like with the "you're not for everyone" card, embrace your weirdness, face your true north, people will talk about you being someone that embraces your weirdness, that embraces your unique, quirky side. And I mean that with love, not as an insult, because 5 kind of reminds me of the 5th house, creativity, playfulness, that artsy type of feeling. The 5th house also relates to romance, so a lot of people may crush on you and talk about crushing on you because of this energy you exude out. And I feel like what I'm trying to say here is you embrace your playfulness, you embrace your unique sides. And people can see that when they have conversations with you. So they talk about that to others after having those conversations with you. And they say that, you're not for everyone. Not everybody is going to appreciate these sides to you. Some may be jealous of your uniqueness. Some may be jealous of your talents, of your beauty, of what you have to offer. Some may see your potential before you see it yourself and try to break you down. Some, it's not jealousy. Some, they just maybe don't like you the same way we don't always like others. Some may be intimidated by you. So it's there's different reasons as to why people may not treat you the same way you treat them, but you're stronger than that. Like, you can always overcome that, and you will find your tribe of people. This is coming from me. You will find your tribe of people when you truly shine as who you are with your authentic power and nature. So people are talking about how you're not meant to follow the crowd. You're not meant to fit in. You're meant to stand out. You're meant to pave a new path. You're meant to be innovative. People may talk about you being innovative and creative and someone extremely unique where you are ahead of your time. Okay, and I feel like people may also talk about you to be quite a trendsetter, quite inspirational in a way where they want to follow in your footsteps and be like you, strive to be more like you, not in a way of trying to become you, but being inspired by you. So this is what I have for you, pile number ones. I feel like a lot of these messages came from your ancestors. So your ancestors are sending you a lot of love right now. And yeah, I'm also sending you a lot of love. I really hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I can't wait to see you next time. Bye. Hi there, my pile number twos. If you chose this Howlite crystal, this reading is for you. We're going to be taking a look at what people say about you based off your conversations with them. So please be aware this is a general reading. Only take what resonates, leave the rest. Before we get started with your reading, I do have a small favor to ask from you. In the last 3 months, 60% of people who watch my channel did subscribe. So if you've ever liked any of the readings I've posted, can you please do me a favor and hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet? It helps my channel more than you know, and I'm so grateful to anyone that supports the channel. So as you can see, I've already pre-shuffled your cards. For your oracle cards, we have Flower Agate with Throat Chakra and Expression, card 3. Then we have Mercury Emerald Cognizance card 28. Then we have Rose Quartz with Venus Empathy card 14. So firstly, I feel with Mercury and the throat chakra here, it's quite funny that these two cards came out since we're talking about people's conversations with you. I feel like people mostly only speak about things you've spoken about to them. I feel this is my pile of people where you only choose what you want to share with the outside world, where they're not going to speak about things that they wouldn't necessarily know from what you've told them. So, in the first pile, it was kind of like they were sensing things and talking about it where they were not really sure. But for your pile, it's like people won't speak about things that they more so sense or assumptions they have of you. They'll only speak about things they absolutely know is a fact, that things you've spoken about and confirmed yourself, because sometimes people think certain things of you, but they're not sure if it's true. So they don't actually say it to others. They hold back from saying it because they're not sure if it's true or not. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting here. And as I close my eyes, because I feel called to using more clairvoyance in my readings lately, because lately I've just been using the cards and not much of my clairvoyance. I'm seeing a perfume bottle. So people may talk about you smelling quite good. I'm also seeing a brain. So people may talk about you being quite smart and logical. But also, I feel like this pile is very intuitive in some way. But I feel like people talk about you being smart and intelligent, but you don't necessarily brag about it or try to say that you're intelligent. They can see it from the way that you speak, from the words that you use, maybe even writing in form of communication, like if you've ever emailed people or written to people or yeah, like send people messages. They think you're very smart by the way you speak, the way you express yourself with your voice or with written communication. And it's not something you necessarily have to scream out to the world, but it's something they can see. Some of you have quite a way with your words, can be quite charming, can be very expressive. Some of you are great and amazing storytellers. Some of you are very funny. So people are speaking about the way you speak and how it influences them, whereas some of you speak with a way of love. You know how to get people to feel like, those movies that get you to cry. Like, I get the feeling that some of you know how to get into people's emotions and into people's hearts when you speak to them, where it's like, maybe before the interaction, they're thinking, I'm not going to reveal too much about myself. And then that goes all down the drain, where I feel like some of you have had people actually overshare with you and really spill the beans, I hear, spill everything about their life, their emotions, open up their heart to you in a way they never thought they would. I feel like strangers often speak about that, where they're like, I've opened up to pile number 2 more than I expected. I've opened up my heart to them more than I've expected. And they're so compassionate, so empathetic. And, I don't feel this energy of judgment from pile number 2. I feel like I can speak to pile number 2 about anything and everything. And I feel like pile number 2 gives the best advice. I feel like pile number 2 really gets me. So people will often talk about that, the fact that they feel very comfortable speaking about their emotions to you, speaking about things that are more deeper than they would have with the average person. With usual people, maybe they just have small talk. But with you really get them outside of their comfort zone and get them into their feelings and in their heart space. Spirit is almost showing me Drake as an example, how his music gets you in your feelings. That's what you do for people. It's 12:21 on the clock, so confirmation. Also, as I close my eyes, I'm seeing makeup. So if you are a woman or if you wear makeup, people may speak about your makeup and say they really like it, they really admire it. I'm seeing a rose. So again, the Venusian energy is showing up, and people think you're very beautiful because Venus is a planet that relates back to beauty, relates back to aesthetics, the arts. Venus is related to Aphrodite, the goddess of beauty and romance, and Venus is also related to romance and sensuality. So I feel like people often will say that you're quite beautiful, and maybe you don't say to them, "I'm beautiful," but of course they can see your face when they're having a conversation with you. So then they'll speak about that, and something about your nails too. I feel like people will speak about your physical beauty or physical attractiveness and kind of compliment you behind your back, where they're like, "Ooh, I really liked what pile 2 was wearing. I really liked the way their hair was. I really liked the way they did their makeup or their shoes. I really liked the way they smell. They always smell so good." Something along those lines is coming up here. So I feel like people often speak about that, and people will speak about you being a very loving person since Venus is the planet of love. Some people may even speak about the fact that they are starting to crush on you after having a conversation with you, or they want some kind of relationship with you. Because this rose quartz in a cup kind of reminds me of the Ace of Cups, where it talks about new relationships being formed. So I feel like some people will talk about you in a way after a conversation with you and be like, "I really want a relationship with pile 2," or "Whoever gets to be with them romantically is so lucky," or "I really want to be friends with pile number 2. I see potential there." People may also talk about your love life. So we'll see more into that in a bit. And I feel people talk about, I heard Virgo, Gemini. So I don't know if you reveal your sign, your zodiac sign to people, for some of you, where you talk about zodiac signs, because maybe people will be like, "Oh, they're such a Virgo," or like I'm even seeing, yeah, like Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, Gemini, Libra energy. I'm seeing also Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. So something about your sign is coming through, where people may talk about astrology and be like, "Oh, she's such a Cancer. She's such a sweetheart. Like, she feels things so deeply." Like, I'm kind of getting that vibe here. And Mercury is the planet of communication. The throat chakra is, of course, the chakra energy center that deals with communication. So people will often talk about you being someone that is an amazing and excellent communicator, someone being very smart, like you have a way with your words, you know how to charm people with your words. Like I said earlier, great storyteller, funny, like those words are coming through with these two cards. And you're also very expressive with your voice, or your face is very expressive. Like people love to hear you talk, and they may say that after having a conversation with you to others. So I'm going to show you your tarot cards now. So the first card we have is the Queen of Water, Queen of Cups. We have the Three of Air, which is the Three of Swords. We have the Ten of Water, which is the Ten of Cups. You have extra cards. We have the King of Fire, which is the King of Wands. And lastly, we have the Six of Air, which is the Six of Swords. Okay. So my pile number 2s. Again, people talk about you being someone that is full of empathy, full of love. You're a really deep person with the Queen of Cups here. You're a very nurturing person, very empathetic. People will often talk about you and say you are like that after having a conversation with you. And I heard very sweet. You're very sweet. I'm also clairvoyantly seeing cake. So Yeah, again, you're very sweet, but there's also something about you. You know, like the slang cake, you have a good looking body. People will talk about that. Whereas I'm hearing some people will say that you're too good to be true and that you're like so sweet that like are you really that sweet all the time? Like I see them questioning it in their mind, but maybe it's because they're fearful of you being too good to be true, where they've never had anyone treat them the way you've treated them. So in some way it's hard to believe, but you are that way. Does that make sense? Like I'm almost hearing in my mind, why are you being so nice to me? Because I even hear that you have been loving and compassionate, or at least respectful towards people that have wronged you. And it's like, some people have been mean to you and you've been nice to them. And I hear them saying, like, why is pile number two so nice to me? Is there a catch to it? Like, I'm almost hearing like you kill them with kindness, because then they start to question it in their mind, like, why was I so mean to pile two when they were so nice to me? So I feel that for some. But if you don't resonate with that, I feel like either way, they're just saying, why you're so nice to me? Nobody's ever been that nice to me. I feel like you've always been this very compassionate and loving person, and people have always really treasured that. But I feel like people talk about the heartbreaks you've been through with the Three of Swords. Because the Three of Swords is all about heartbreak. But with the Six of Swords, there is a transition, a change, a healing happening where you're moving away from relationships like that. You're no longer holding on to or sticking with people that don't reciprocate the love that you give, because I feel like you've always had a lot of love to give, and that's what people speak about, where maybe it's put you into this anxious mode with some people here, where, like, let's say you're giving a person a lot of love, but they're not reciprocating it, and it's making you very anxious. It's making you wonder, like, why are they not giving me the love I'm giving? I even feel like for some here, you've been givers, but you haven't had it be given back to you, or some have gone through betrayals here in terms of romantic connections, and it just made you feel like, am I not giving a good enough love? Like, am I not good enough for this person, or something along those lines? But I feel like recently you've learned that you're better than that, and you want to transform something within your love life and within your relationships. So, if you are currently going through a breakup or healing from a divorce or anything of the sorts, people may talk about that based off, the conversations you had with them, based off what you said to them. And they're not talking about it in a way where they're spilling the tea on you or anything like that. I don't feel like people actually, some may gossip about you, but I feel like majority of the people that we're talking about here actually have a lot of respect and love and admiration for you. And even your haters, even the people that are jealous of you, do have admiration for you secretly. So it's like people are talking about you in a way where they're like, pile number two has really gone through this, and I feel so bad for them. I feel sorry for them because they never deserved that. If you're a mother, people may talk about that, or just the fact that you're just so nurturing and that you would be a good mother or father. Yeah, like you're very empathetic. You know how to put yourself in other people's shoes, and people talk about that a lot. And, for those that have gone through pain within your connections, as I say pain, it's reminding me of that song Pain by Pink Panthers. I feel like some people will crush on you and talk about you and be like, that person didn't treat them right. That person didn't appreciate the treasure that they truly had. If they don't want the treasure, I'll have pal too, and I'll treat them right. So I feel some people are crushing on you and speaking about you in that way, like that person didn't treat pal too right, but I'm gonna treat them right, and I'm gonna, go towards them and offer love towards them. Hopefully they like me back. Or if this is a romantic connection I'm picking up on, if you're in a romantic connection, this could be your current person I'm picking up on, and them talking about how you were mistreated in your previous connections and how they're going to treat you better. I get that feeling here. Or it could be people that are crushing on you that are like, you didn't appreciate Paltu, I'll have Paltu and I'll appreciate them. I'll give them all the love. That's what I feel here. It's like there's this hunger certain people have towards you where they're crushing on you so much. And I'm seeing a crown as I close my eyes. So they want to treat you like a princess or a king or queen. Like that's what they say to others. And I see fire in my mind's eye. So some people think that you're very hot and they talk about you like that. I feel like some people talk about you when they're crushing on you and have a romantic interest in you, and that's what they'd say to their friends, of course. I'm also seeing a lock. So there's something about you being like when people talk about you, they expect you to open up more and talk about yourself more and everything you've been through in life. But then sometimes it feels like they're not going to get information until they get to know you on a deeper level and form more of an emotional bond to you. Because I feel like, although you're an open book and you do open up about some things that are personal to you, I don't feel like you're that open with everybody, where they have to form an emotional bond to you first before that happens. And I feel like they'll say something like, I really expected to pal to talk about themselves, but I ended up speaking about myself the whole night, where they asked me questions and were curious towards me and kind of like, was open to me emotionally, speaking about these things about my life and speaking about the pain I've gone through, but then they never spoke about much about themselves. So I guess I'll just have to get to know them more and speak to them more. And with the rainbow here, now I hear a car alarm going off as I say rainbow. It's like people clearly see, like with the car alarm, it's something very big where people clearly see the hope at the end of the tunnel, because rainbows represent hope after, the rainbow comes after the storm. So you've been through storms in your life, but you are in this rainbow phase of your life now, where hope is coming back, where inspiration is coming back. And I feel like people are talking about that. People talk about you being very curious after having a conversation with you, where they say that you seem very interested in them and what they have to say, where you're not just thinking about yourself, you're very humble. You don't just think about yourself, you're very selfless, is what I hear. People also talk about you being very strong. They may talk about material items you have and how much that may have costed. I don't know why that is coming through, but I'm seeing that clairvoyantly. Like, oh my gosh, did you see Pile Two's bag that they were wearing? The handbag that they were wearing? I wonder how much that costed. I don't know why that's coming through, but it is. People also talk about you being very good with children or animals. For some, that's what I'm picking up on. Or like, let's say you go to someone's house and they have a dog, and usually their dog doesn't really go up to people, but they went up to you and really like you. Like you have this very pure vibe and aura, loving vibe and aura. A lot of people talk about that. People also talk about you being quite patient and secure within yourself. You're coming back to a balance and stability within yourself, and people are seeing that. You're getting rid of all distractions and focusing on you, is what I'm hearing. That's what people talk about. Well, you're Like I'm seeing a ladder, so you're ascending, you're climbing the ladder to your own personal growth, you're climbing the ladder to your achievements and the things you want to build within your physical life too. So people may talk about that, your achievements. And it's like you're kind of painting your reality as if your reality can be painted like a painting or something. That's what I'm seeing clairvoyantly. So we have a new earth. It's happening. Keep holding the vision, which is exactly what I was talking about just a second ago. Like you painting your reality, you changing your reality with the Six of Swords and completely transforming it with a new earth. It's like people are talking about you right now and how you've changed, how you've grown, you've completely transformed. And I think that came up in Pal 1 as well, but it's like, it's just unbelievable. And it gives a lot of people hope for themselves too. Because it seems like your world around you is really changing. Okay, we have big picture thinking with Pleiades energy, visionary, and inspired ideas. So people talk about you in a way where they say that you're a dreamer. There's also this Neptunian energy coming through. So if I'm not mistaken, Pisces and Sagittarius were also Aquarius, innovation. There's something about you being able to dream big, think big about your future and about the life you want to live, where people really feel inspired and hopeful after a conversation with you because you speak in this very empowering way where it's like, I believe I can achieve anything, getting rid of all self doubt, of all negative thoughts, anything like that, and believing that you can achieve the big things in life that you dream of, how you want your future to look like. So people will often say, I feel very inspired after having a conversation with Pile 2. You know, I can see that there's someone that thinks big. They're not someone that plays it small. They shoot for the stars, you know, like that's kind of what I'm getting here. They're a visionary. They have amazing ideas. And a lot of people speak about you in a way where they really believe you can achieve the things you want, or they speak about your achievements and how you always think big and you don't let any doubts creep in and distract you from your own journey. Look at this card. Surrender to the sweetness. Venus energy, pleasure, joy, make love to life. I said I saw cake and then Venus energy showing up twice. So I feel like the emphasis here of what people speak about based off conversations with you is your heart, your beauty, internally and externally, how much of a pleasure and joy you are to be around, how loving you are, your love life, your relationships, especially those that are admiring you from afar. You may have a lot of people crushing on you, talk about you, and just how sweet you are, how much of a loving person you are. Then your last card is water your garden, nourishment, body care, tenderness, and rest. So I feel like the last thing people talk about you, based off your conversations with them, is that you're really learning to water yourself. They may not say it like that, but I'm almost seeing a TikTok I saw a long time ago where it said something like, treat yourself like you're a garden and nourish yourself like you're a garden, something like that. So I feel like this energy of you nourishing yourself, you giving yourself self-love, giving yourself the same compassion you give to others. You're turning that love you give to others, that big love you give to others, inward and nourishing yourself. And you're also nourishing yourself by focusing on you, by focusing on the things you want to achieve and accomplish, by focusing on building the life you want to live in the future and transforming yourself and your life. You're also making more time for rest and, like not being mean to yourself when you need to rest. Maybe you're taking care of your body and your physical vessel by gymming more, by exercising, by drinking more water, eating healthier, or if it seems that way, Like people may say, oh, pile number 2 looks really good right now. I wonder what they've been doing. Have they been going to the gym? Have they been exercising? Have they been drinking more water? Their skin looks really good and clear, or something along those lines. Or it could be, your like mind, body, soul, like you've been treating your mind well, focusing on, building up your mental health, healing your mental health, or focusing on giving food to the soul. So this is what I have for you, pal 2. I really hope this reading resonated with you. If it did, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I can't wait to see you in my next reading. Hi there, my pal number 3s. If you chose this Flourite crystal, then this reading is for you. We're going to be taking a look at what people say about you based off your conversations with them. So please be aware this is a general reading. Only take what resonates, leave the rest. Before we get started with your reading, I do have a small favor to ask from you. In the last 3 months, 60% of people who watch my channel didn't subscribe. So if you've ever liked any of the videos I've posted, can you please do me a favor and hit the subscribe button? It helps my channel more than you know, and I'm so grateful to anyone that supports the channel. Okay, so the cards you have, as we see, we have pre-shuffled. We have Larimar Neptune Perspective, card 22. We have Black Tourmaline, Pluto Regeneration, card 11. So we see 2211. People may, if they're spiritual, they may notice signs and synchronicities after seeing you. Turquoise, card 12, with the earth element and perseverance. And then lastly, we have Aragonite with the fire element and initiation, card 10. And this shell just moved as I put the card down. So there's something about you being able to move people through your conversations, through your words. That's what I'm really getting. The fire element is all about creativity, the energy of creation, the energy of inspiration, of light. So people may talk about you and feel very empowered after a conversation with you. Feel like you moved them deeply. They feel like you created some kind of spark for life or inspiration within them after speaking to you, and they may speak about that after having a conversation with you. They may feel very hopeful after a conversation with you and feel very inspired and speak about you from a place of inspiration. And the reason I say so is because we have Neptune here, the planet of dreams. So I feel like you're a very dreamy person. That's what people say about you. But you're also someone that dreams big. You think big about your dreams and goals and desires. And I feel like you look at your dreams from a very spiritual perspective because Neptune is a very spiritual planet. If you are spiritual or religious in any way, people may talk about that. Especially like what you've spoken to them about, if you've taught them something new. And people are very inspired by you thinking about your dreams from this very big place and remaining focused on it. So there's something here about foodies. Some of you are foodies because I was tasting food, or like let's say you have a conversation with someone and you're eating lunch together or dinner together. They may talk about your taste in food and say they really like your taste in food. The fire here is reminding me of hotness, so maybe some of you like spicy food, or you have like a spiciness to you, like a hotness to you in the way that you are as a person. People will also talk about you and say that you're quite a trendsetter, that you're very innovative. You start new things, new ideas, and it's very inspiring because you kind of bring something new to the table. You're very ahead of your time, where a lot of people haven't seen what you bring to the table. So this could be in different ways. This could be in your career where you have many great and creative ideas. It could be within your hobbies, the things you're passionate about with fire here. It could be with, your self-expression. Like, let's say, you have great and amazing innovative ideas when it comes to fashion and style, and other people kind of like see you as a trendsetter and want to almost copy you or take inspiration from you. It could have to do with certain talents you have and creativity, because the fire element here could indicate creativity. So some of you are very creative and people can talk about that. Like, especially if you do art or if you sing or you do something creative. I'm even seeing cake making, something like that's coming through for some. Okay, with the earth element here, I feel like people talk about you being someone very grounded and stable, where that fire within you remains lit. It doesn't go out. You have a determination to get to where you want to be, a perseverance. You're very focused on right now, the present moment. You're able to stay present within a conversation, and people really like that. People also think you're very fun to be around when they're having conversations with you, so they may speak about that. And they may say things like, pile number 3, they're focused on their goals. They're focused on the things they want to build and achieve within their life. And they're never going to get tired or get to this place where they no longer want to try. Like, they persevere till the end, till the finish line. And that fire within you doesn't burn out. It doesn't die out. The passion within you. People may talk about you being someone that's very passionate in the life of the party and very fun, very funny too, very charismatic. But then at the same time, you're very grounded and responsible. So it's like you know how to balance out your work and play. That's what I'm really getting here. People talk about you being very balanced in that way. With Pluto here, people talk about you being very intense in some way. You have like an intensity to you where they can't quite put their finger on it or describe it, but you do have that. And with Black Tourmaline here, there's something about you having this self-protection up where I feel like there's this mystery when it comes to you. Like, people don't really think you're the type of person that just enjoys small talk. Maybe sometimes you can. You can have lighthearted conversations and enjoy it, but I feel like you're someone that likes deeper conversations. So if they're not willing to really get to know you on the deeper level and they just want to know you on the superficial level, they may say that you're closed off, but I don't think you're closed off, pile 3. I think you just like deeper conversations, and I think you're not interested in the superficial in life. And those that really see you will say that. Like pile 3, they're not the type to have small talk and talk about the weather. They're really curious. They want to know about you, the deeper sides of you. And people are also very curious about you, like the deeper sides of you, where you're not just like a surface level person. I feel like this is my pile of people that love to go out on brunches and eat. Like, I keep seeing food in my mind's eye, different types of food. And I feel like your friends will talk about you in a way where they say you're that type of friend that's very generous. You'll pay for your friends or you'll invite them out, or like generosity just doesn't just have to be financial or with gifts, but they could talk about you to be a very generous person. And I'm hearing birds outside while clairvoyantly seeing birds in my mind's eye. So people could talk about you being a very free spirit, to be someone that sees things from a bird's eye view, bird's eye perspective, very high perspective. Something about your eyelashes is coming through, where people speak about your lashes and your eyes being quite dreamy and mesmerizing. You have that type of ethereal look to you, and I'm seeing something about time. So you could always be on time, you could always be late. Something about time is coming through, or patience when it comes to reaching your dreams. It could look different for all of you when I see time. There's something about you also always looking clean, put together. Something about your teeth looking clean and your breath smelling good. Like it looks like you take care of your hygiene. That's what people say. After having a conversation with you, there's something about your car coming through or means of transport that people may speak about. And I'm seeing a brush. So again, you look very put together all the time. You look like you really take care of yourself on the physical. Even if you go out and you don't wear makeup, for example, and you don't you know, like if you don't have time to do that, you still look very put together, neat and tidy. What else? What else am I getting? I felt called to using more clairvoyance because I've noticed I don't really use it much in readings. I'm seeing flowers and plants, so if you're someone that likes to keep flowers and plants in your home or make your home very beautiful, or if you're someone that loves flowers, something about that is coming through where people may talk about that. And I'm seeing someone look into the mirror and admire themselves. So people talk about you with the fire element here, being someone very confident in yourself. And I feel some of you haven't always been that way. There's been a transformation here with the Pluto energy, but some of you have always been that way. And it can be intimidating. Like some people say you're a little bit intimidating, but in a good way, because I feel this pile has a lot of sexiness, but people don't always tell you that because they're a little bit intimidated by you. I know this is not part of the reading, but some people want to have conversations with you, but they're shying away from it, and then they're kind of like, "Oh, I wish I could have a conversation with them." That's what I'm feeling there. So for your tarot cards, let's see. We have the Chariot. The mystery is emphasized here of like what people speak about a lot. We have the Fool. The Ten of Pentacles. And the Seven of Water, Seven of Cups. Again, the dreaminess is coming through quite strongly. With the number 7 showing up twice, people may talk about you to be quite lucky in some way, even if you do not feel lucky yourself. People may talk about the physical things you have, your physical achievements with the Ten of Pentacles, the things you currently have financially with all these coins here. But they may talk about it where they're very shy to speak about it because, like, some people, they don't know if it's okay to talk about that about you. Like, some people, they talk about you, and then I'm kind of seeing this energy where they say something and then they're like, is pile 3 going to be mad at me for saying this? And then they're kind of shy saying that. So I don't know what that is, but that's coming up. When people talk about you after having conversations with you, they say that you're very loyal and that you're a ride or die friend, that you're so protective over those you love. You'll do anything for those you love. And I'm almost getting this vibe of like, you mess with someone I love, like, I'm coming for you, then you're gonna see another side of me. But like for you, maybe you're not like that for yourself. Maybe you are because we have black tourmaline here. So maybe you're very protective of yourself too. You know how to stand up for yourself. But maybe some of you don't really care too much for like I'm almost seeing like fighting with people, for example. Like maybe someone here, like you don't care to fight with people if they treat you negatively. But let's say you have a younger sibling and they did something to mess with your younger sibling or bully your younger sibling, you're fighting. It's kind of like that vibe. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what people say about you. People also say that, like they want to have more communication with you, especially over technology. Something about your surname is coming through. Like, I don't know if they use your full name, but that's coming through. I just saw surname. I feel like this is my pile of gift givers. Maybe you love to give gifts and people talk about that. People talk about your intense transformations and level up, how you've leveled up within your life, especially physically, financially, the things you've achieved. Again, that big dreamer quality you have where you dream big and you don't let any outside influences distract you from your purpose and your path, because I feel like you have a lot of big things fated for you in this lifetime, a lot of big things you're meant to achieve, a legacy you're meant to leave behind, a name you're meant to make for yourself. People talk about you also being extremely kind, yet unique at the same time. Yet there's like this energy of like you being someone they've never met before. Like they've never met anyone like you before. Like I said, you're very unique and you see the world in a very unique perspective. You see the world in a very magical and like kind of like childlike, joyous perspective. That's what people talk about when they speak about you based off their conversations with you. I'm also seeing a keyhole, so you have a lot of potential to unlock new doors to your dreams and goals and desires. That is definitely the main theme we're seeing here. And if you've already transformed yourself like this, where you are right now today, if you've already leveled up so much within your own life and followed your dreams and desires and goals with no doubt in your mind, imagine where you will be in the future. Imagine what changes and transformations and the kind of life you will build for yourself in the future. People talk about you being someone that is not afraid to take a risk, because you know that if you take an informed risk and really plan ahead, it's not that really big of a deal. That's what I'm getting with the earth element and the fool. I keep hearing the word charismatic. You have a way of with words. Like you know how to persuade people. But I don't feel this is my pile of people that would even try to do that. But you have that natural kind of charisma to you. People talk about you being a ray of sunshine, like you spread happiness and joy wherever you go. And you're someone that always has a plan. Like you always have a plan for what you want to do in life. You always have clarity. You always seem like you know what you're doing at life. And I'm seeing something that's not going to resonate with everyone, but something about jealousy. Okay, this is going to sound really, really bad. I don't know if YouTube is going to be, yeah, I don't know. But I'm hearing that TikTok that's like, if I see him with another girl, I'll kill her. And like, I'm seeing a knife clip. So I don't know, like there's this intensity to you where some people may think and talk about you to be a jealous person, where it's like your person is your person only and nobody can come near them. Nobody can breathe the same air as them. Like I'm kind of getting that energy for some if you are in a romantic connection. Or again, the protectiveness over people you love is coming through. Some of you are very good at sports. And I feel like people have watched you over time and again seen how you've transformed. That message keeps coming up. People think you're gonna make a lot of money within this lifetime because I'm seeing big blocks of cash clairvoyantly from your talents and gifts, because people think you're very gifted and that's what they say about you after having a conversation with you. I'm seeing the Libra Justice scales. So there's something about you being very protected where if anybody does you wrong or does you dirty, they're going to get their karma and you're going to get your blessings. I'm seeing a mirror, so there's something about like people always complimenting the way you look again. And again, you're also like very fair and balanced with the Justice Libra scales and also very honest and trustworthy. People will often say after having a conversation, like, I trust pile number 3 with my life, and it's 111 on the clock, so confirmation. I feel like a lot of the talents and gifts you have, that's what people talk about. And even if you don't see yourself to have any talents or gifts, you could have certain strengths that people talk about where you don't even realize it. And I feel like a lot of these talents and gifts come from past lives where you were meant to find that again. You were meant to do that again. So we have the courageous peony with multifaceted, unique nature. Let yourself be seen. We have lost land, soul memories, and gifts. You've done this before. We have whale and orca elders. Share your song, frequency of sound, diving deep. Something about your music taste being good. We have you're not for everyone, embrace your weirdness, face your true north. And lastly, we have Star Brothers with protection, loyalty, safety, and trust. So again, trustworthiness is coming out, and I hear a ringing in my right ear now. So my pile threes, I feel there's something about you where you know what you want to do with life. Like, again, that self-sufficiency, independence is showing up. I don't think I said that, but like, you look like you have your life together. You look like you know what you're doing when it comes to life. Like, nobody can tell you or give you advice because you already look like you're on the way to success. You already look like you're on the way to achieving big things where nobody can actually even give you advice because it's like your path is extremely unique. Your ideas are extremely unique. You're meant to kind of follow your own path. You're meant to be your unique self in the world. And that is healthy to your soul. When you follow your heart, when you follow your passions, when you don't try to do things the way other people do it and embrace your own unique self, embrace your own unique nature, and let that be seen by the world where you follow that. Like Alice in the Wonderland follows the rabbit into the rabbit hole, where you follow the journey you're meant to be on. And somehow you always follow your intuition and that deep internal knowing you have towards where you want to be in life. And it always pays off in the end. It always works out in the best possible way, even if people didn't see your vision before. I feel like you're very ahead of your time. And that's what people talk about. They may not use the words I'm using, but this is the general idea of what they're saying about you. They say that you're someone that is extremely courageous to put yourself out there. And when you do that and when you express yourself that way, like that's just magic. You know, when you let yourself be seen, when you let your authenticness be seen by the world, that's just magic. Because, you know, you're not for everyone, but the right people are going to love you for you. People often talk about the conversations with you and that they love the conversations with you. They love when you express yourself. You know, again, you're very trustworthy, loyal. You know, they trust you with everything. That's what people say about you. But they also say that you're very deep and they love to have deep conversations with you. Like, again, you're not a surface level person. So this is what I have for you, pile 3. I really hope this reading resonated with you. If it did, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I can't wait to see you in my next reading.